friends, and welcome to the School Librarian Learning Network podcast. I'm Steve Tatro, also known as Dr. T Loves Books, and I love talking about all things related to school libraries. I may be an old dog, but I'm always trying to learn new tricks. In each episode of the SLLN podcast, I'll chat with a school librarian about a lesson they love. Hopefully, this can be a place for school librarians to get ideas and find new ways to engage with their students and staff. As a good friend likes to say, we're better together. So I hope this podcast will help school librarians connect with and learn from each other. The opinions and ideas shared in this podcast by myself and my guests are our own and do not reflect those of our school districts. And because school librarians always strive to be good digital citizens, I cite sources when using material that is not my own. Without further ado, let's get to this week's episode. Hey everybody, I'm back and I have got a great friend from Texas. I am so excited. Across the country, we are going to get some awesome learning on today. So Deb, thank you so much for joining me today. Why don't you take a second, tell folks who you are, where you are, what's going on?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited. I am Deb Zeman. I'm a middle school librarian. I live in Frisco, Texas, which is about 30 minutes north of Dallas, and I am a librarian in Louisville ISD, which is 30 minutes the other way. So I've been a librarian. This is finishing up my 8th year. Prior to this, I taught for 16 years English, like we all did. And then before that, before we moved from Dallas, we were originally from New York, and I was in publishing for 10 years. So books have always been in my blood.
My favorite New York Texan, I tell you. So you said classroom teacher. What ended up, what was the impetus to move from the classroom to the library?
Administration asked me. So when I went into my old district, I was taking over for a woman that was transitioning to the library. She never did her degree. They just, it was a small district. There, it's one of these things in Texas where you can have one certified librarian and everybody else is a para. You know how that works. Yeah. And so when it was time for her to retire, after 6 years, they were like, "Are you interested in going into the library?" And I was like, "Yeah, let me look into it." Got into University of North Texas, all online, which was really nice. And I was able to work while working in a library while going to school, which was nice. Yeah. Because, with that, you have the practicum and you have to have so many hours. My mentor was in a district one town south of me, so it was nice to be able to go back and forth and text her and reach out and everything whenever. And, again, for those that have to take the library test, taking that while you're working in a library, because we all know how those tests are. In a perfect world. Yeah. So you have, trying to get out of that mindset. Like I have a friend, Sarah Sturman from Instagram, how we're all in the same world. She's not working yet, but she's coming up to spend a day with me to just see what it's like, get her hours, but experience, here's the lessons I'm doing while I'm doing cataloging, while I'm running my library ambassadors, while I'm doing ed tech, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Originally I always thought I was going to go more in the ed tech route, but now, I'm an ed tech librarian. So.
Right. Well, and that's something I was sort of in the same boat. Like I was looking at ed tech as a potential move away from the English classroom, but like you said, library is tech. It's books. It's all the good stuff all combined together. So hard to go wrong there.
That's why my phrase is it's not just books and bonbons.
Absolutely.
It's everything, We become those information go-tos for not just book talks, but here, try this in your classroom. It's working for me in the library. Try this. So.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of ed tech, you are also a Wakelet ambassador, are you not?
Wakelet trainer.
Wakelet trainer. My apologies.
Certified. No, I've been with Wakelet for, since 2018. I think I've been using it. It's been so long. And, gone up the ranks, community leader, and then ambassador, and then had the opportunity back in the spring to become a trainer. And myself and Christy Starr were the only librarian trainers. So, that's the thing ed tech has to understand. You've got this whole other world of librarians. So, Christy and I were able to go represent Wakelet at AASL and met hundreds of librarians who, surprise, surprise, never used it, didn't know what it was. So being able to present and show all the different things we as librarians do with it. But it's like it goes for any ed tech. Canva, Adobe, Book Creator, and then now all the AI, Brisk, Magic School, School AI. It's never ending.
Yeah.
And for us, it's an opportunity more to collaborate with the teachers too. Here, this is how you can use this. This is how you can integrate it. And like one of the things that I do is the library in the loo. Potty PD. And what I've been doing is, as I do those certifications, I do every month a showcase of, hey, try, like this month was Magic School AI, last month was DIFIT, the month before, now there's Brisk. I want to, it's not a bad thing to integrate this stuff in your classroom. It's supposed to make things easier for the teacher.
Right.
It's making things easier for me. I know that. It's like, oh God, I need to figure out something. What's a quick lesson I can do? It gives you 10, so.
Yeah. Very handy.
It's crazy. Can't keep up. No, I have to say, sometimes I feel like it's a competition with me, Karina, Q the librarian, and Amanda Hunt, the next gen. It's like, I did this, try this. I mean, my poor phone. Hey, I got certified. You need to do. And I'm like, another tool. Okay, why not?
Yeah. Oh, I always see you three posting different badges you've gotten and stuff. It's awesome. It's great.
Well, that was like at Christmas. We did the 12 days of tech. And it was amazing to see all these other librarians jump on the bandwagon. And like Rachel Fryman, every single day, she was jumping right on whatever we offered. And she got all 12.
Nice.
It's like,
wow.
Okay. So we know we'll do that again at Christmas because who knows what ed tech will be out there.
Oh, seriously. So if I'm understanding correctly, you're going to talk about how Wakelet can be used with the students and how the students can become Wakelet ambassadors.
Certified student ambassadors.
Yeah. Okay.
Learning about it in 2018, started to use it. And then I was helping teach an ed tech team. We had our students SWAT, students who advocate technology. And we had 6 kids, I think. It was myself and Tisha Poncio. So she was the lead teacher. I was co-teaching and like they would, go back and forth or whatever. And we had been presenting for Wakelet and we helped, we did stuff at ISTE with them. And then we were doing stuff, at TLA with them, and TCEA, more TCEA. And so we started discussing the Student Ambassador Program. What are ways that we can get the kids to start using it? And so with the Student Ambassador Program, the end result becomes their digital portfolio. So they're learning we always say it's the, creativity, the 4 C's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. And then the 5th one becomes curation, which is what Wakelet is. Curation, and, and then the 6th becomes citizenship. So being that information specialist, I'm teaching them how to find reliable resources. Don't always rely on Google because...
Oh, yeah.
Anybody can post, teaching them .edu, .org, looking at authority, who is the person, look into the person more, see what they've done. Are they really that authority where it's a reliable resource? So we started brainstorming with them and then got the 6 lessons. So you have the 5 lessons and then the 6th one is formatting the portfolio. Because one of the things we came up with when we started doing one-to-one iPads and then shifted to MacBook Airs, digital citizenship with the kids. You've got to be a proper digital citizen in order to use this tool the right way. And one of the things we always said was, when you're building your resume and your portfolio, your resume is your promise. Your portfolio becomes your proof. You can't give that paper resume anymore. Colleges want to see, okay, you said you did A, B, C, and D. Well, where's the proof? Well, build your portfolio. And, kids have been using Google Sites, Bulb, all different kinds of things. Well, now we've got Wakelet, where you can curate everything into one spot. So you have your collections, and when you pull it up, you've got this beautiful portfolio. We crashed this in 2.5 weeks with these kids. It was my 3 library ambassadors and the 6 SWAT kids. We built it, and so it has the 6 components. So you have the program overview, which introduces it, and then you have curation. Simple. All about me. Give us 10 things that are about you, and this is where they can share photos, videos, just descriptions, things that they like. And the thing that's nice is with the integration of Canva and Adobe Express into Wakelet collections, they can create in those 2 and then just embed them right in there. In addition to uploading videos, uploading pictures, all that kind of stuff. So it starts with the curation and all about them. Then it goes on to critical thinking, where it's a challenge, where it's your perspective. And this is where student voice and choice comes into play, because you don't want to just say, go use this, go use that. Let them choose. So they're using Wakelet as that base for their collection, their platform. And then within each collection, they're using whatever they want. And so what I did, to backtrack a little, this was the first time I was using it with middle schoolers. And so I set up all the modules. We used Canvas. I taught them, here, this is how we did it. Because they're 13 and over, they can have their own accounts. Whereas 12 and under, in your account, you can set up a classroom where they're joining and they have the freedom to create the collection and not have to worry, with everybody with data privacy acts and everything. And then Wakelet is great about that. They've, FERPA, COPA, SIPA, all that. So I was like, yes, they're learning the library, but let's get their portfolio going at 8th grade, because now they're starting to go in high school, and only in 3 years is really when they're going to start. I need that resume for college. So I got them going with the first one, which was all about me. Then second is the critical thinking, where they compare things, but they're getting those reliable resources to back up their argument. This is where we had so much fun. I did this a couple years ago with high school students during COVID. So I had Apple versus Android, Chick-fil-A versus Popeyes, literally apples versus oranges, which is better. And they got really strong resources that backed up their argument. So that was the second. And again, you're teaching that citizenship, where they would sit with me and say, okay, how's this for resources? Am I finding the right stuff? And teaching them how to find that, the authority and all that.
Right. So they're getting research skills inside of these lessons that are helping them with critical thinking skills, which are also helping them put together a portfolio. And if you're starting at 8th grade, like I'm already jumping ahead a little bit, but I can absolutely see how they work on this in 8th grade, and then they can revisit it every year, every couple of years, and sort of do some compare and contrast, like here's where I was, here's where I am, and sort of show that growth. And
that, to get to the graphic design, that is the thing. So our we had Honora and Jill and Julie, the twins. Those are the 3, and then the boys. Honora was very big into graphic design, and she wrote an original blog for Bunsey. I think it was either her or Julie. One of the 2. Found it, started playing with it by herself. We had been familiar with it, we had been using it, but they went and did it themselves. Then she learned Canva, and in one of her collections, she literally has graphic design. And you can go in, and she was smart when she revisited, like you were talking about. Originally, it was just the graphics and that's it. She went back in and put captions for the years. October 21, October 22. And you can scroll and go from the bottom up and watch her improvement and her progression in using these tools, and how, a basic Google drawing to now these Adobe Express and Canva designs that she has done. And it's like, there we go. Jill, one of the twins, her whole thing during college was photography. So she had a collection where you could see the portfolio and the improvement and how she did it. And, again, all the girls and the guys, Brady and Wyatt, they still use their portfolios. When they were all in high school, they were getting jobs in the local town, designing websites, doing graphic design for local businesses.
Wow.
Yeah, Julie actually has her own baking business that she started when she was 15. And I'll give you her link to her portfolio. She's called I Am Madam Pastry. She's on Instagram. And you can go to the bottom and you see her basic cakes to what she does now. It's really good for the kids. And of course, their self-esteem, and look at what you can do. Yeah. Never, ever put down, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Look at your progress. Look at how you've improved over the years.
Well, and I think that progress is so many of the kids have a hard time seeing their progress, because they might get back like, here's a paper and, here's a score, but like, you're not putting them side by side by side over the course of years. So this project helps that.
Scan those PDFs, get that writing in there, especially if you're focusing on writing. You can see, okay, this was a basic short story. Now I've got a chapter for a novel. Look at how my writing has changed over the years.
Yeah.
And the improvement on it. And that's what's so nice about Wakelet. Like, I look back in some of the collections I've done and I was like, oh, I was so beginner. Now it's like, oh, okay. Like Honora has changed hers umpteen times, just the graphics, which makes a total difference too, to grab whoever's looking at it. Which leads to lesson 3, which is creativity, where they design a flag or a logo for the student ambassador program. So they're looking at the overview, they're looking at other examples of what kids have done, and they're creating it based on what they understand. It's global. It's learning to be a good citizen. It's all these things. And the stuff that the kids come up with is just incredible. Being able to use whatever they want to design. And then what they can do is create a flip short explaining. So you've got that video of the kid explaining, this is why I created the logo or the banner or the flag the way I did. So there's that proof again.
Yeah.
Not the promise, but the proof.
Yeah.
I
mean, they could do a flip video, which I think a lot of students would really be into. But I think they also kind of have the flexibility with
anything.
They could describe it in words. They could.
You can write it out. That's the thing that's a nice feature. You can do a written response in there. You could record a video. Nowadays you can record in anything. So it doesn't have to be just Flip. It can be Adobe. It could be Canva.
Okay.
And then you have collaboration. And this is a lot of fun because now you're tag teaming with 2 of your classmates or whatever. And what it actually is a playlist. And you get 10 songs that mean something to you, of course, school appropriate. We always tell them that. I can't remember if it was Wyatt or Brady. They went and they took screenshots on Spotify of the album cover. And that was their 10 songs. And then you share that, you invite your 2 collaborators. They're learning about each other. Hey, I didn't know you liked that group, so do I. Like, during COVID, I did the social distancing playlist. Okay. What's it like for you to be social distancing, find 10 songs? So one kid, I remember I did it with middle schoolers, a 7th grader created these little things in Canva, and it, had the artist and the songs, and then they would talk about the lyrics and link to the videos. So they didn't put the actual video in, they just gave a link, which I thought was great. And so I was like, okay, and I was reading one of them, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I went to the artist page, and it was of King and Country. They're from Australia. I got hooked. And I was able to have messaging conversations in that safe space with that kid. Like, I can't believe how good this band is. I never heard of them before. And then, of course, you're getting to know your kids. But when you do it with the kids, they get to know you.
Right.
Oh, she's an old fart. It's all 80s music. Sorry, that's what I grew up on.
That's
Guys,
right.
all the music you got came from all the music we listened to,
Yep.
It's like, here, you like this song. Here's where the riff came from. And you get them interested. So that's a lot of fun. But again, it's also that learning how to collaborate. And then having a discussion right there, like they're back channeling where they can put all their songs and then they can comment or do like they have all the reactions where you can, thumbs up or party hat or whatever.
Right.
And again, it's that one-on-one with each other too, which is really nice.
Yeah. So you're building community while you're collaborating, learning important skills. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Then came the communication, which is the 5th one, which is student choice, where they're expressing an opinion about something.
Okay.
And again, that, like I brought up earlier, like why you shouldn't smoke, why you shouldn't vape, or why is climate so important to us and what are ways that we can do that. And so it's free reign. Design it how you want. Present it how you want, get but again, citizenship, get those reliable resources, get your research skills going, okay? So then at the end, their 6th is setting up their portfolio, which on the main page, you can have your little categories, which would be Wakelet Student Ambassador, and they can embed each collection. So then they've got that final portfolio, which then they're only 8th grade, like you said. Now they're going to be going to 9th grade. You're going to be doing more things and building that portfolio for when you go to college, because now you're going to write your resume. You could put that QR code. You can put that link, and the universities can now scan it, click it, and see what you're all about.
Yeah, they can go right to it and
Right.
have the visuals right there to augment these, what sometimes seem to be rather dry essays that,
Papers.
Yep. So that's really cool. Nice. Okay.
As they complete this, they're getting a digital badge, teaching them, hey, you can create a graphic. This is what mine looks like with all of my committees and all of my, badges and stuff, to say, hi, I really do all this,
Yeah.
Attach it to their signatures. I said, and you don't have to do it to your school one, do it with your personal one. And they're like, huh? I said, you're not going to have the school email forever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's nice too with Wakelet is you can change your address and it all goes with you. So by the time they're graduating, okay, I don't need the LISD net anymore. I'm going to just transfer it to my personal, and it goes with you. And so now what they have is the portfolio course, which rolls into improving it. Now they're going to really write a bio. Now they're going to format the categories, and it's like, okay, you have the category that's student ambassador. Well, I'm in sports. Put a sports category. Make those collections of your awards, of your videos, of your pictures of what you've done in that sport. Or no, I'm a singer, I'm in choir, and I'm in bands. So Honora has collections of videos of her performing at church, performing with the school band, marching band. I think she was drum major or band president, one or the other. So it's like, here, you're now getting those collections and you're proving to them, yeah, we were UIL, we got, rankings of one. okay, what does that mean? Well, now you have the certificate. Now you have the video to prove. So now what my kids are doing this 9 weeks is that portfolio course where now they're improving, but they're also getting feedback from their peers. In addition to me, because there's a rubric where they can follow the rubric to, okay, here's the initial setup. Now, get that feedback from your friends, have them respond, and you can fix it even more and improve upon it. So by the time you're applying to college, it's all grouped how you want. You know, here's the stuff I do outside. Oh, I do community service. I was a candy striper. I volunteered at whatever. So that's the next step after they set the initial portfolio up. But they're also learning the platform where they can make their own fun collections, you know. It doesn't have to be just for school. Going on a trip, put all the stuff of what you want to go and visit so you know, oh, I can refer back to that. Or like with my son, when he got married, I put QR codes all over the tables. People were able to scan it and upload their pictures. So while the kids were on the honeymoon, they could click and go, I didn't know that. Oh my God, I never got time to. So I'm like, here, guys, this is everything you can do, not just your portfolio. Like as librarians, we're always curating resources. Here, I give this to the teachers. Black History Month. Here's everything. Or National Poetry Month. Here's this. Or AAPI. Here's this, So that's what we're teaching the kids. It's not just, a portfolio. You don't have to have 9,000 bookmarks, guys, especially if you're doing research for a project. Throw all the links right in there and you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, it's a handy tool for them in so many different ways. And I love how you're using it programmatically to help the kids build these portfolios. And even better, this second part that you're talking about where they're giving each other feedback. Like so often I feel like student work is they get like educator feedback, but they don't necessarily get peer feedback, especially on a product that is theoretically like done, where, they do a portfolio and then so many of them are going to be like, okay, done, like, wash my hands of this. But continuing it on and getting that feedback on, well, okay, all the stuff is here. Can people understand it? Can people interpret it? Is it visually pleasing? Like those are things that,
And there that becomes, learning how to curate proper resources, graphic design. That's key nowadays because everything is done on the computer. Look at what you can do. You're taking that skill you didn't even know. And like the funniest was a couple years ago, Jill did a video for me while she was in college. She actually took a portfolio class and the professor was using some other platform and she went up and she says it in the video. I went up and I talked to him afterwards and I showed him, listen, this class is a waste of time. I've already done this. Didn't say that in so many words, but showed him her portfolio. He scrapped everything, used Wakelet, and had her help teach the class how to use Wakelet. And like the kids are starting to get it, especially when I show, look, this was Honora as a sophomore. Look at what she's done. I'm like, when I use her example in the Jill and Julie's, this is not what it started out as. Because it's always a learning process. You're always changing it because things are changing so fast. Like they're always shocked. Wait, you still go for like learning? I'm like, yeah, we're constantly learning. And that's the thing. You've got this platform now. We might work on something and then a year later, you might go, whoa, wait a second. I can go back. I still have access to that. It doesn't go away unless somebody takes it away. That's all. But I always get smart and make a copy just in case because it could get lost and I always tell them too, again, with the citizenship, if you get access to a collection and you make a copy, it's still going back to that original person for credit.
Right.
Even though you're tweaking it, it still says copied from.
Right.
It could be copied 1,000 times.
I think sometimes they lose track of the fact that although it's easy to make a copy of it, someone had to spend time and effort and
Exactly.
energy creating this thing. So you're stealing if you take somebody's stuff.
Right. I mean, you can't be like, you see, we always say it. You see it on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Instagram. Oh, I'm going to steal that. We're not really stealing it. We're going to give that credit, but that's the most important thing. And that's what's so nice about this is you will still give credit to whomever it was that originally created it. You can't take that away.
Right. Right.
know?
Man, I mean, there's so many great things built into this lesson. I love it. And I mean, I usually ask about how you might adapt it, for different ability levels, but it's really made to work for whatever, whatever the individual student doing it is.
Right.
It's going to be their work, and it's going to be their reflection over, especially if they do it over time.
Right.
I mean,
and that's the thing. When I created this, in my modules meaning for Canvas for my kids, I gave them like 2 weeks. You don't have to throw it all at them. So first I wanted to show it to them. Here, this is what you're going to be using. And they're like, whoa. So then I assign, okay, here's the program overview. Just take a look, watch the videos. Then here's lesson 1. Well, the All About Me is so easy. They can get it done like that. But then when you really have to get into the critical thinking and the collaboration and the communication parts of those lessons, you need that extra time because you're researching reliable resources. You might question it. You want to come to me and ask me questions. Did I do this right? It gives them that time. And so this really was all of September, October, November. But they also have the Wakelet, just a certified course for kids to get them going. Because that was what was great about this is after we did this, I had them do the Wakelet certified student. And I said, guys, I want your feedback. What did you think? And all of them are like, we should have started with this first, then do the student ambassador program. Next year, with my next group of ambassadors, first I'll do the Wakelet certified, then I'll do the student ambassador, and then do the portfolio course where they're really fixing it up in the spring. So
Right. No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And we should always be trying to get that feedback from the students and think about what can we do to make the lessons, we don't want to just repeat the mistakes of the past if we can help it.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's important to get used to getting feedback from others. That's
Right.
what you're teaching them too, because you're going to get feedback all through your life, not just your teachers, your bosses, your friends. And you need to learn to accept that constructive criticism.
You've got students that have been using this now literally for years. So
Still.
they clearly are finding this a valuable tool and lesson. I'm just curious, have any teachers had any feedback about students using Wakelet?
Where we started, they loved it. They were like, oh, and then we got them all using it in their classrooms to share stuff with the kids. So it ends up, it's also showing the teachers, don't take these kids for granted. Look at what they can do.
Yeah. I realized that I skipped something very important way back at the beginning of our conversation. So I'm going to pretend that we're rewinding for a second.
Way back.
So this lesson that you're sharing is on the Wakelet website.
Yes.
But you built this lesson for Wakelet, didn't you?
Yeah, Tisha and I. Yeah, we crashed it through with the kids in 2.5 weeks. You can go on there and you can see all these kids from all over the world and their responses and what they think about it. And we're talking 12, 13-year-olds, not just high schoolers, And there's littles that are using it. I know people that are using it with their kids in elementary, setting up the classrooms and teaching them curation, the research skills, in 2nd and 3rd grade.
That's awesome.
That's what it's for,
Yeah.
But what I always have said, we've always said it is play. You as the teacher go do this program yourself. Get used to it. Do all of them. Do the portfolio, do the certified, and do this. That way, you can now show the kids, look, this is what it's going to look like when you're done. I did this. Kids like to see that you're actually doing what you're showing them, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but I feel like not only when we know it, but when we are interested in it and excited about it, that comes across, and the kids are more likely to be interested and excited. You know, if it's just, okay, kids, here's another thing to look at, and we're dead behind the eyes, so are they. So,
yeah. I mean, you know, when you go to the collaboration, that's the one they have, that and the creativity is the one that they have the most fun with, just to learn what each other likes, getting to know each other. That's what the All About Me is. Kids, you have a dog. You've traveled there. I didn't know. You really want to do that someday? I had no idea. So it's like they're getting to see what their classmates are doing and learning about them too. But again, you as the educator are also learning too. As a librarian, I could turn around and go, you know what? I'm going to tweak this so it's, tell me your favorite 10 books.
Well, I love this lesson. There's so much great stuff going on, skill-wise, community building. I mean, it's awesome. We are now going to go in a completely different direction.
Go.
We're going to take our book break.
Book break. Squiddy.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, it could be more than one book if you've got a couple of, because I know that you were having a little bit of a difficulty kind of picking out maybe this one or that one.
One of the things that I did last year was collaborated with 6 Texas authors, where I have the 3 by 8 foot bookmarks of their books that's promoting them. And Lisa Phipps' Starfish, wish that was around when I was a kid. Perfect for 11-year-olds, body positivity. You have Aniana Del Mar Jumps In, that's Jasmine Mendez, where it's about a girl, I want to say it's cystic fibrosis, I don't want to say it wrong, but it's beautiful. Both of those are beautiful novels in verse. Rex Ogle, that man can write the phone book, and I will read his stuff. Like, he did 2 graphic novels, Pizza Face, which is his upcoming one, and Four Eyes. I love Four Eyes because I was like, where was this when I started wearing glasses? I mean, I was 19, but still, kids that have to wear glasses can relate. Oh, Four Eyes, you know, the teasing. Rose Brock, Hope Wins, great short stories from authors all over the United States about every topic you can imagine. Rex is in there. I don't know. There's so many people. What else? Oh, Rebecca I can never say it. Balcarcel. She wrote Shine On Lou's Valise, and I love that because it's about coding for girls, but it's also about family and adapting to this change that she does not see coming.
Yeah.
So again, here, we're a STEM Academy. It's a perfect book where I could turn around with that book and partner up with the Gateway STEM teacher when she does coding. Let's do a project where they're reading the book, but then they're building their coding, you know?
That's such an enjoyable story.
See, you got me because I'm on 3 reading committees. It's really, really, really hard to choose because I'm on a graphic novel one. I'm on Spot, which is Spirit of Texas. I mean, there's so many fantastic books out there. I read it for the Sybil Awards, and I had to reread it for a Spot. Plan A by Deb Coletti.
I just saw that title come up someplace.
It has to do with a girl that gets pregnant. It's very unusual how she gets pregnant. It was, well, I didn't know you could get pregnant that way. And how she's chosen to get an abortion, but you know how all the laws have changed and how she has to road trip across to go to her grandmother's in Oregon where she can get it. So that was really good. I'm one that I absolutely love novels in verse because I think that's a gateway for kids between graphic novels and regular fiction chapter books, where I'm like, guys, think of it as lyrics to a song. without the music. And like I've done, book tastings, just novels in verse. And I set it out like a restaurant, and I put different genre, because I did make a whole novel in verse section where it's also genreified, so you have the realistic sports and all that. And, I did the typical, read the blurb, what caught your attention, what's the hook, all that kind of stuff, and where they have to read it. I had kids checking out 2 books because they're like, I had no idea. And I'm like, yeah. So if I were to pick favorites for a genre, it would be novels in verse.
Okay.
Whereas, I can't. There's just Ashley Schumacher. She's from Denton. She wrote In the Orbit of You, blew my mind, loved it. And then the other one that she wrote was, I have to think, I sobbed, Amelia Unabridged. And it has to do with books. Okay. And, so good. If I was going to say one of my favorites, that's probably one of my favorites. Adult stuff, it could be, when I have a chance to read, because I do pace myself where I can read for the committee. I need to read an adult book now. I need a break.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you just added about 30 books to my TBR list, so I'm going to say...
just go to I post everything on Instagram, so you go check my Instagram and you'll see all the different ones,
Speaking of, when people want to get all these awesome book recs, what is your Instagram so that they can find you?
So Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads. Am I forgetting any?
Sounds about right to me. I know, there's so many.
It's Z_Brarian.
Love it.
Librarian,
Librarian, yeah.
And that's what I use on all social media. And that's where you can find me. I'm kind of phasing away from X because you know how crazy and toxic it could be. And then I like Blue Sky because I'm really connecting with a lot of authors on there.
Yeah, there's quite a few over there.
And it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then they like it because when I post, I tag them as, because again, Blue Sky is, it's
it's
still
formative.
in its early stages with the tagging and the hashtags and whatever. But, that's what mostly Instagram and Twitter still.
Yeah. I know. I keep trying to move away and I keep trying going back. It's like an abusive relationship.
What is it what is it they say in like The Godfather? Just when I got out, they pull me back in.
I couldn't, if we had a whole conversation where I talked to you and we didn't bring up The Godfather, I feel like we would have really missed an opportunity there. My New York Texan. All right. Well, Deb, thank you so much. I truly appreciate your time, this amazing lesson, these great book recommendations. And you are just a font of knowledge and fun. So I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the SLLN podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes, which include not only a link to the lesson, but also links to the SLLN website, home to a curated list of free upcoming virtual events and resources for school librarians. It's easy to become a member of the network. Just visit the site and use what you like. If you have an idea, a question, or a lesson you want to share, you can email schoolliblearning@gmail.com. That's school, L-I-B, learning@gmail.com. Know someone with a great school library lesson? Let us know. Until next time, be safe, be good, and be well.